Okay, here we go. I just got this plates and the shower curtains. So let me see. Hey Junpei, that towel you've got. You think maybe you're supposed to put it in one of those empty spaces? I mean, the pattern does look kind of the same, doesn't it? He's right, I think so too. But if that is the case, you're going to need to collect all 3 tiles, right? Don't you think we should collect all of them before you start putting them in? I agree. Let's go in this bathroom and put the tile, or the curtain. There's a curtain rod running along the ceiling. Let's put that shower curtain on those hooks. Let's try spraying the curtains. Wow, that's a pretty obvious peephole. Somebody's really dedicated. Well, with a hole this big, you gotta wonder if maybe they wanted to be caught. Who would say maybe the one getting spied on was into that shit? Maybe they were into like those home invasion fantasies. Home invasion? Interesting. I see. You two are real idiots, you know that? I think we need to look through the hole. At the symbols on the other side. So how do we get there? Oh, there you go. Let's try spraying the curtains. There's a hole in the curtain. If I look at it from a ways back, I can see a single tile. Alright, from here I can see what tile it is. Looks like it's 5th from the top and 3rd from the right. 5th from the top and 3rd from the right, which is 1, 2, 3, 5. 5th from the top and 3rd. So it's like the green one with 2 dark vertical lines. Alright, I don't know how to use that information yet. There are some pieces of expensive looking ceramic or porcelain in here. We already got the towel from here. So perhaps there's nothing else. Alright, let's go back to the original room. What's up? You going back already? Well, I can't just leave June there by herself. What, you think you're her knight or her protector or something? You're creeping me out. Whatever, man, I'm going. Maybe I can pull one of these out. I get it, yes, yes. What are you mumbling about? Did you figure something out? Oh, nothing. Don't worry about it. I'm just gonna take a picture of this on my phone. Like a boss. Alright, I need to find that last tile. Oh, I should push that tile here. In the bathroom in Lois's room, I saw a particular tile when I looked through the hole in the shower curtain. Maybe if I look in the same place over here. Alright, now where was it? 5th from the top, 3rd from the right. What are you mumbling about, Jumpy? Oh, sorry. Could you be quiet for a minute? I don't want to forget this. Huh? Okay, 5th from the top. 1, 2, 3rd. Here it is. Yes. This one's loose. I think I can get under this with my nails. And yes. Tile. I'm so happy. Let's go back. The exit. Lotus and Santa are in the room on the other side. I'm gonna go check up on them. There's a tile in the frame, so I guess I'm supposed to put tiles in the empty spaces. Alright, I'm gonna give it a shot. Let me look at my trusty picture that I just took. Yep, bottom right tile's right. That's right. Too easy. Yes, I did it. There, picture complete. And there goes the frame. What's this? What do you mean, what's this? Pretty obvious, isn't it? It's a hole in the wall. Like a hidden safe or something, you know? Anyway, let's take a look. I think there's something inside. It's a key. Mars key. Junpei messed around a bit with the key he had and looked blankly at the picture that slid down. What's the deal with this picture anyway? Santa had only been mumbling to himself, but it drew Lotus's attention. She looked at the picture and paused. I think I've seen this picture before. Where? In the book. There's a British biochemist named Sheldrake. He has a rather interesting theory. I saw this picture in his book. What's this interesting theory? Morphogenetic field, which relies on the theory of morphic resonance. Huh? Man, I can't deal with this. Just listening to you talk about it is giving me a headache. Santa put his hands on his head as though he were in great pain. Lotus merely arced an eyebrow in his direction and continued. It's not a difficult concept to grasp. In essence, he states that the shapes of living organisms and their behavioral patterns are transmitted through a field not visible to the eye. What part of that isn't difficult exactly? Lotus did not look pleased. Alright, how about this? Theory of the telepathic mechanism. Telepathy? Yes, telepathy. Well, perhaps not exactly telepathy, but it is close enough for a simple approximation. Santa suddenly burst into laughter. Ha 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 ha. Are you serious? Telepathy? Who do you think we are, kids from the 70s? I can't believe someone would actually do serious research on something like that. Yes, I agree. Lotus's response was surprisingly curt. Junpei had expected at least some conflict. I read the book, but I can hardly say I understood it. I'm in no position to defend or condemn anything, it said. It was probably just something latching on to a statistical outlier from some study and turning it into a ridiculous theory. There's no scientific merit to any of it, I'm sure. But even so, Anyway, I saw a picture like that one in his book. Lotus indicated the picture they'd all been looking at. After a moment, she walked up to the strange picture, examined it, and then spoke. Hey, what do you think this picture looks like? Santa answered first. What do you mean? Isn't it just like abstract or something like that? It's just black and white scribbles. There's no meaning here. That's it. What about you, Junpei? Does it look like anything to you? I guess it looks like... It doesn't look like any of these. A small boat floating in a lake. No. Funyan... What is that last one? Funyarinpa. I like that last one because it's weird. Funyanrinpa? See, I mean, it totally looks like one here and here. Junpei indicated parts of the picture that look exactly like the other parts. After 3 seconds of silence, Lotus looked at Junpei. What the hell is a Funyarinpa? What do you mean, what the hell is a Funyarinpa? Say it one more time. You mean you don't know? How the hell would I know? How could you not know? That's practically blasphemous. Say you're sorry. Apologize to the Funyarinpa. Goodness, you're such a rude woman. Another 3 seconds of awkward silence went by. Lotus opened her mouth as she shook. Junpei, are you just screwing around? Forget it. I'm just gonna tell you, this is a dog. See, like this. Lotus pointed out parts of the picture, and eventually a dog took shape in them. It looked as though she had a point. Oh, yeah. It was a dog. Santa also nodded in agreement. So? Now we know what it's a picture of, but I don't see how that helps us. Lotus nodded and began to speak. A TV show from Great Britain did an experiment once. They took 2 similar pictures. Both of them were difficult to identify initially, but once you'd figure out the answer, you couldn't see it as anything else. The first picture was a woman wearing a hat. The other one, well, to make it easier, let's just say it was this picture of a dog. So, their experiment. First they sent the pictures to other parts of the world where British radio and television didn't reach. To Ireland, the US, Africa, Europe, etc. Then in each country they gathered a number of test subjects. All in all, there were roughly 1,000 people. Those 1,000 people were shown the 2 pictures and asked, what does this picture look like to you? The results in and of themselves were not terribly interesting. 9.2% of the people saw the lady in the lady picture. 3.9% saw the dog in the dog picture. Then 2 days later, they broadcast a new show. During the 30-minute show, they broadcast the dog picture and its solution. The audience was estimated to be 200,000 people. After the broadcast, it could be assumed that the number of people who knew the solution to the dog picture now totaled over 200,000 people. After another 2 days had passed, they gathered a number of research subjects from areas where British TV and radio did not exist. This time they were only able to find a sample of roughly 850 people. Naturally, none of them were people who had participated in the last test. They were, however, given the same test and the same 2 pictures. The results were shocking. 10% of the people saw the lady in the lady picture. The previous test had yielded a 9.2 success rate. The change was not statistically significant. The dog picture, however, produced a very different result. The percentage of people able to successfully find a dog grew from 3.9 to 6.8%, a very significant increase. So do you understand? Do you realize the significance of this experiment? There was no way the second group could have seen the picture. They lived far away from Britain and couldn't have seen the picture. But even so, it was only the success rate for the dog picture that went up. Why? How did that happen? What does it mean? Lotus looked back and forth from Junpei to Santa and back again. Normally calm and collected, she looked now as though she were very nearly possessed, and there was something manic about her manner. Santa took an involuntary step backward. Junpei didn't budge and stared straight back into Lotus's eyes. Does this have something to do with that field or whatever it was that you were talking about earlier? A field not visible to the eye? So if more people knew the answer, then that information will pass through the field. Psych! Her manner suddenly shifted and Lotus smiled broadly at Junpei and Santa. She waved her hand dismissively, doing her best to laugh the whole confrontation off. Oh, I was just kidding. You really shouldn't take me seriously. Well, I mean, the things I just told you about are true. It really did happen. But the results of that experiment really aren't anything to go by. They could have easily falsified them. In the end, I'm sure they were just in it for the ratings. They are a TV station after all. At last it seemed that Santa had gained control of his composure. Right. Man, I gotta admit, you had me there for a minute. I really thought you were serious. Haha, of course not. Like I told you before, I'm sure it's all just pseudoscience. Oh, okay, right. Haha, ha 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 ha. Santa and Lotus laughed and gave one another jovial claps on the shoulder. Junpei, however, didn't feel so much like laughing. Something felt wrong, unclear. Alright, enough nonsense. We've got the key. Let's get out of here. Word. Lotus and Sansa walked away from the picture, but Junpei stayed, staring at the picture of the dog. A field not visible to the naked eye. A morphogenetic field. The more he thought about it, the more his head hurt. Yes, my head also hurts. Alright, let's go to the hallway. I'll go get June. You guys head to the door. Okay, roger that. Yes, it unlocked. Good job, Junpei. Good, now we can get going. Come on, what are you guys standing around for? Let's get out of here. Come on, Jumpy, let's go. Alright, let's go. You found it. Thanks, game. They stepped to the door to find themselves in a wide hallway. Junpei, June, Lotus, and Sansa stopped for a moment and looked at their surroundings. A short distance away, a metal grate extended across the width of the hallway. They took hold and shook, but it refused to move. Nearby was a pair of elevators. It only took a few button presses to determine that the elevators would not respond to their efforts. They could only assume the elevators were not powered. There was only one door left. Well, looks like we don't have any choice. Yeah, sure does. Well then, let's open it. Junpei grabbed hold of the knob and quietly pushed the door open. He entered, slowly trying to take in as much of his surroundings as he could. The others followed shortly. Oh, so it's a kitchen. Sansa did not look pleased. What were you expecting? Isn't it obvious? The exit. I was hoping this would be the way out of here. Heh, you really think it'd be that easy? Yeah, I know, still. As they talked, Lotus headed deeper into the room. Until at last she stood in front of a door. If we can just get through this door, we should come out on the other side of that grate we saw earlier. But don't we need a key for that? Sorry, I guess that wasn't very constructive. Neither Junpei nor Lotus looked terribly happy. Junpei dug the ship map from his pocket and spread it out in front of him. As he did... Hey, what's that? Huh? Oh yeah, I guess I forgot to tell you. I found this a little while ago. It's a map of the B deck. Before Junpei could finish, Lotus snatched the map away from him. She ran her finger across it, muttering to herself. I knew it. See? Look. Junpei did as he was told. Sansa and June moved over to look at the map as well. See? We came in here. If we go out there, then we'll be on the other side of the grate. With her finger, Lotus traced a path on the map. She was right. Satisfied that she had been correct, Lotus folded the map and handed it back to Junpei. He took it and slid the valuable piece of paper back into his pocket. There's a card reader on the right side of the door. Then that means the key card is somewhere in here, right? That seems the most likely. Alright, we know what we need to do then. Let's get moving. First off, I say we split up and look for clues. Okay. Seek a way out. Will do. Those 9 plates look pretty expensive. They're plates for appetizers. Remember, appetizers usually come on square plates. Okay, well, excuse me, princess. 1, 2, 3, there's 10 of them. If you flip these over, they look like hats. The middle is super deep for a plate. They're soup plates. They're made that way so that the soup doesn't spill. If we ever get out of here, you should treat yourself to a nice dinner out. What makes you think a poor college student has the money to do something like that? A voucher, it says. Appetizer 9, meat dish 10, soup A, seafood dish F. I think there are 15 of these plates. I'm assuming they're for seafood. How the hell can you tell that? They look just like any other plate from the 99-cent store. If you ever take a lady out to dinner, you're going to embarrass yourself. I feel sorry for June. What? 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 Why the hell are you bringing up June? The lady doth protest too much, methinks. You are not terribly subtle. A partition, there's nothing special about it. There's a bunch of little wavy ridges on this plate. Those plates are for serving meats. You really are ignorant, aren't you? Come on, it's not like I need to know this crap. Jeez. The countertop. We've got a rolling pin and a colander. Nothing useful, in other words. That's the exit. There's a big old iron plate over the door. I don't think we can open it. Hey Santa, could you open that door, please? What the hell? There's no way I could open that thing. Guess you're getting to that age where your eyes start to go, huh? You better watch your mouth, boy, or someone won't live long enough to see that door open. This has got the two of them on edge. We gotta get out of here fast. It's kind of far away, I can't really tell, but is that a ladle? I don't really think a ladle is going to be very useful. There's a light hanging from the ceiling. It's a tank with a pipe coming out of it. Nothing really that special about it. It's a bolt, and it's really rusty. Will this even open? We won't know till we try. Let's give it a shot. Alright, let's see if you're gonna come out. Damn, no dice. A door. There's a bolt keeping us from opening it. It's a note. It's got a bunch of stuff written on it, but it doesn't look like a code or anything like that. Looks like a bunch of instructions for using the cooking utensils. Nothing really suspicious about that. Wow, this pot looks like it's made out of silver. I bet drinking tea from this pot would be really yummy. Spending a day off with June drinking tea. Could such a day ever happen for me? Jumpy? Oh, nothing. We don't really need hot water, so we should be moving on. This table looks really old-fashioned. Probably means this is an old boat. The shelf has a white cloth on it. Click the white cloth. There's so much stuff in here. A whole lot of cans. This is probably a pantry. A rusty knife. I don't think we'll be able to use it while it's like this. The knife seemed important in Junpei thought, but it wasn't going to be much use the way it was. It's futile. Futile? You know, a waste. Useless. Pointless. Oh, any particular reason you wanted to bring that up? Oh, no reason really. I was just thinking about futility. She wasn't making much sense. Junpei tried rephrasing his question. Why were you thinking about futility? At last she answered, well, it has something to do with the Titanic. The Titanic? Yep. Have you ever heard the story that the sinking of the Titanic was predicted? Yeah. Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. There was a novel that had a bunch of stuff in it that described the sinking of the Titanic before it actually sank. Yeah, that's the one. The title of the novel is Futility. It was written 14 years before the Titanic sank. But, I know. I mean, I didn't know the name of the book, but the story was the same, right? It was just like what happened on the Titanic? Yeah. Well, I heard it was all a hoax. A hoax? I heard that the stuff that matched up to the Titanic so well was actually added after it sank. Apparently, the only thing that was the same originally was that a boat ran into an iceberg and sank. But the novel was published in 1898, 14 years before the accident. Like I said, that was the first print of the book. 14 years later, the author heard about what happened to the Titanic. He figured that it was his chance, you know? He just went back and changed some stuff in his novel, so that it matched the Titanic exactly. Surprised by Junpei's response, June seemed rather taken aback. Really? Really? There's no such thing as premonitions or any of that stuff. For a moment, June looked very unhappy. More so than Junpei thought was normal for such a discussion, but it lasted only a moment. With no apparent reason, she suddenly looked up at him alarmed. But, that wasn't the only book that predicted the Titanic sinking. It wasn't? Yep. There were two other similar stories written by a man named William Thomas Stead. Both of them before the accident. One in 1886 and one in 1892. Stead wrote 2 stories that had striking similarities to the Titanic disaster. In one, 2 ships collided, and many of them of the passengers died because there weren't enough lifeboats. In the other, a ship collided with an iceberg and sank. I don't know, I mean, I'll give you that it seems a little weird, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't too uncommon for ships to hit icebergs back in the day, or even other ships. Right, I knew you'd say that. But what if Stead had some sort of special powers? To be more specific, what if he had the ability to do automatic writing? What? Automatic writing? Wait, are you talking about that thing where someone says they're possessed by a spirit and then they write a bunch of stuff without knowing what they're writing? Yes. What do you mean yes? That stuff's a load of bull. Okay, so let's say hypothetically that automatic writing isn't a total load. These guys still couldn't have predicted the sinking of the Titanic. When the Stead dude wrote his thing, nobody had died on the Titanic yet. So if automatic writing is about being possessed by spirits of dead people, who the hell possessed him so he could write that stuff? That's not it. What's not it? Stead wasn't possessed by a spirit. He was doing the possessing. What are you smoking? William Thomas Stead was a passenger on the Titanic. He just wrote down what he saw with his own eyes. 20 years before it happened. He decided it was probably best to say nothing. What June was saying was insane and utterly absurd. If he tried to take what she was saying seriously, he'd go mad. Junpei smiled uncomfortably. Well, why don't we talk about this some other time, okay? Huh? But her voice trailed off and she glanced at the floor troubled. Tap, tap. Junpei tapped June awkwardly on the shoulder and gently on the shoulder and awkwardly reached around her to pick up the knife from the box. We're really in trouble. I know I'm just repeating myself, but this is really a futility moment. That blade is so rusty. Yeah, I know, we can't cut a damn thing with a knife like this. If we're going to cut anything, we probably have to sharpen the knife. Fair enough. There are cans lining every shelf in here. Wooden box in the second row, though. Cheese! Hey, there's something behind the cheese. You're right. Why don't we move some of the cheese? Alright guys, time to move it. June and I need to look behind you. There's a little green bottle back there. Bottle of oil. Oh look, cooking oil. You could probably use this to make something slippery. Like the knife? Nope. There are a number of cheeses lined up on the shelf. This is Gouda cheese, the most famous Dutch cheese. If you don't cut open the case again, usually it won't go bad. So you can store it at room temperature for quite a while. So we can eat this, most likely. I'm not hungry at all. I guess it's hard to get hungry in a situation like this. There's cheese on the shelf. Sweet. Okay. It's probably nothing. I'm just gonna try each cheese just in case. Alright, sorry. No cheese. Nothing else in the cheese. There's milk in here. Milk in an iron barrel. Judging by the rust, it's probably really old. Maybe we shouldn't open it up. I don't think it'd be a pretty sight. The light for the pantry. Maybe this table is for preparing food. There are plates everywhere. There are lights, buddy. Nothing weird about that. Alright, it's going. Do you think this was all part of Zero's plan? Probably. Kinda hard to believe there's a chef on board somewhere. I wonder what this drawer is. You see the metal grate on top of the grill? They make it like that so that the fat and juices can drip off the meat while it cooks. The drawer seems to be stuck. It won't open. It's a grill. There's some coals down here. They're bright red. There are some bottles of seasoning in here. All we got here is pot and frying pan. Oh, and a pressure cooker. Well, I guess we could use some of those as weapons. What kind of an idiot are you? You're gonna run around holding that thing while you're looking for the dead? Hey man, it was just a joke. Why so serious? Why so serious? An iron oven. Looks pretty heavy duty. It's probably industrial quality. I bet you could cook anything with this. Anyway, let's have a look inside. Damn, I knew it. It's locked. I don't have the code yet. Oops. Oh, a countertop. There's a rolling pin and colander here. Nothing useful. A trash can. There's nothing inside of it. Well, better than being full of rotten food, I suppose. Damn it, there's nothing in here. Hey Santa, digging through the trash really suits you. What the hell did you say? Listen lady, I did you a favor. I needed just piss and moan, so I did it for you. Oh my, I don't recall asking you to do anything. Arrgh, I ought to throttle you. Squeeze me. Does it feel colder in here? The sink, it's still got water in it. There are a couple plates in there, but I don't think they're gonna help us much. It's a sink with water in it. There are a couple plates in the water. Whetstone. Combined with knife. Maybe I'll use the whetstone to sharpen the knife. The blade of the knife is getting sharper by the second. I should be able to cut something pretty good with this. Cut this. A rusted bolt. The store won't open until we can do something about it. About this bolt. Maybe if we had some kind of lubricant. Oh, the oil. This bolt is rusted in place. It won't budge. Of course, maybe if I put some oil on it. Hey, just a little bit of oil and... Come on, you little son of a bitch. Whoa, ha, yes, got it. Got you, you little bastard. You did it, Jumpy. You're so smart. Aw, thanks. As Junpei walked into the room, a blast of cold air washed over him. Almost instinctively, he folded his arms, tight across his chest, doing what he could to conserve body heat. Brr, it's cold in here. What is this place? Are you blind? It's a freezer. Santa's teeth had already begun to chatter. Hardly surprising. The freezer was far too cold for someone dressed as he was. Lotus, however, was in an even worse situation. Oh, no way. That's way too cold for me. I'll freeze solid in seconds. Sorry, but I'm afraid I'll have to pass on this one. I'm going to leave the rest to you. And with that, she ran out of the room. As Lotus left, June came in. Whoa, it's really cold in here. Wide puffs of steam hovered in front of their faces as they talked. June had already started to shiver. Hey, you don't need to be in here. You had a fever just a little bit ago. You should stay outside. We got this. No, I'm fine. My fever's gone now. But Junpei had scarcely opened his mouth when the thunderous sound of metal upon metal rang out from behind them. In unison, they spun around to find that the door they had only recently come through was closed. Junpei rushed to the door. Desperately, he grabbed hold of the doorknob. Ow! It was cold, beyond cold. Merely touching it was painful. The doorknob had frozen solid. They quickly deduced that the pipe next to the door had ruptured. Water released by the rupture had hit the door and frozen instantly. Santa shoved Junpei aside and pounded against the door. Lotus, you're out there, right? Open the door. She wasted no time in responding. What do you want? What's going on? The door won't open. Try opening it from that side. Please. Fine. If you say so. Hold on. Soon they could hear Lotus on the other side of the door. Then the grunting ceased, and they could hear light panting, as if from exertion. It's no use, it won't budge. You've got more people in there. You figure it out. God damn it. Sana was shaking like a newborn deer. June was hugging herself and was shivering violently. Even Junpei, with the heaviest clothes of any of them, was clearly feeling the cold. With every breath they took, they could feel the cold working its way deeper and deeper into their bodies. Anyway, let's find a way out. If we don't get moving, we're gonna be permanent residents. Two heads are better than none. I'm sure we'll figure something out. Yeah, you're right. Let's just take a good look around this room, okay? Right. They pushed in close to one another and began to search. Dry ice. Junpei picked up the dry ice with his sleeve so as to avoid burning himself. Dry ice is just frozen carbon dioxide, right? Yeah, it is. I wonder how warm it has to get for it to turn back into gas again. Hell if I know. How's that gonna help us anyway? Oh well, I figured we might be able to use it to get out of here. They were about to move on when June spoke up. Carbon dioxide's sublimation point is minus 109 degrees. Any warmer than that and it'll turn into gas. Any lower and it becomes a solid. Junpei looked at her dumbfounded. How do you know that? Teehee, despite my looks, I'm the queen of random knowledge. Looks bad to mess up when you're showing off. Argo mouth, mumble mumble. Oh, you're so cold, your mouth's going numb? Yuff. What's white? You're just doing that on purpose, aren't you? June giggled and did her best to hide her guilt. At least she was still feeling good enough to joke around, Junpei told himself. Come on guys, don't you think that's kind of weird? I wonder why it doesn't turn into a liquid first. Santa was now shivering at an astounding rate, but his curiosity seemed unaffected. Junpei, however, was not in the mood to discuss science. He wanted out of the freezer now. His patience was wearing thin. How the hell would I know? And how the hell is that going to help us out up here? We don't have time for this crap. Actually, Junpei stopped mid-sentence, surprised by June's interjection. Under enough pressure, carbon dioxide will turn into a liquid. This isn't really a good time for a chat about science, but I was wondering the same thing. Wondering what? Wondering why carbon dioxide doesn't turn into a liquid unless it's under pressure. Right? It just seems weird. Water is a liquid between 32 degrees and 212 degrees, so why isn't that the case for carbon dioxide? H2O and CO2 are pretty similar. No, they're not. They're totally different substances. Look guys, if we keep this up, we're just gonna freeze to death. You good with that? You wanna die talking about sublimation and gases? Cause I sure as hell don't. He fixed both of them with a glare. Now let's get back to work. Assuming you don't want to end up like a pair of ice sculptures. Junpei turned around and the problem dealt with. Or so he thought. There's a kind of ice that doesn't turn into liquid when it goes above 32 degrees. I heard about it. Its melting point is 96 degrees. Its melting point is 96 degrees? You mean there's water that freezes at 96 degrees? Yeah, well, you could also look at it as ice that won't melt until it's 96 degrees. Water that freezes at 96 degrees. Ice that won't melt until it's 96 degrees. That's interesting. Now that was difficult to ignore. Junpei had to ask. So what's this ice with a melting point of 96 degrees called? I heard it's called Ice 9. Ice 9? Originally, Ice 9 was a made-up substance invented by a science fiction author, but recently scientists have discovered that such a substance actually exists. Wait, hold up. So is this thing called Ice 9, or is it water? Like I said, if the ice is over 96 degrees, it'll be liquid. If it's under that, it'll solidify. So you can think of it as a polymorph of H2O. Here, think of it like diamonds and graphite. They're both made of carbon, right? But depending on the structure of the crystallization, the hardness and structure are completely different. So you're saying normal water and this Ice 9 are like that? Yep. She wasn't finished. Have you heard the story about the crystallization of glycerin? For 150 years after the discovery of glycerin, people cooled it, warmed it, and did all sorts of things to it. But whatever they did, it never crystallized. However, one day in 1920, some glycerin that was en route to England by ship was discovered to have crystallized during the trip. Naturally, scientists worldwide wanted to research this new crystallized form of glycerin and began asking for samples of the seed. The seed is, of course, a sample of the original crystallized substance. With the seed crystal, further crystallization of glycerin would be a simple matter. However, something very strange happened. Not only did the glycerin encouraged by seed crystals begin to crystallize, nearby samples did as well. It didn't end there. After that day, all glycerin in the world began to crystallize naturally when cooled to less than 64 degrees. Before that day, no matter how glycerin is cooled, it refused to crystallize. But once the crystallization had begun, it was almost like, how do I put it? It was almost like all the glycerin in the world was communicating. Communicating in some way that we can't sense. It was almost like, how do I put it? I was honestly impressed. It was in fact a pretty interesting story. Wow, that's pretty interesting. But what does that have to do with Ice 9? To his surprise, it was Santa and not June who answered. What she's saying is that it's a lot like Ice 9. What happened, I mean. A lot like... That would be bad. If water everywhere started freezing at 96 degrees, man, it'd be the end of the world. Junpei felt that Santa might not be treating the idea of the end of the world with the proper concern. At any rate, we're not going to have to worry about the end of the world unless we can get out of here pretty damn quick. He was right. Junpei shivered. Alright guys, I think that's enough of that. I didn't think we'd quite get this far off topic. I mean, I know I'm kinda at fault here, but we can't be screwing around anymore. Seriously. I might go by the name Santa right now, but I didn't grow up in Iceland. I freaking hate the cold. So let's get cracking, alright? We gotta find a way out of here. Santa stomped off, clearly doing his best to pretend the cold wasn't affecting him. Selfish, isn't he? He thought Junpei to himself. Still, Santa was right. It was high time they got back to their search. The story of Iceland had him interested, but there'd be time to think about that once they'd gotten out of the freezer. Junpei looked at June, nodded, and resumed his search of the room. It's a thin pipe. Thin pipe. This thing's frozen solid. This pork? Yeah, it seems like it. What's this thing? It looked like a tag or something. Junpei, is there a slip of paper in that meat? I think there's something written on here, but I can't read it like this. If we try and pull it out, it'll probably rip. You'll need to defrost that. Don't think we're going to be doing that in this room. Everything's frozen in here. It doesn't look like there's anything else interesting. The shelves are covered with frozen food. Nothing special about that. There's water dripping from this pipe. It looks like when the pipe burst, the water hit the doorknob and froze it in place. This water actually seems almost warm. Sturdy rope. Water bottle. There isn't anything else here that looks useful. Alright, rope to the pipe. There's warm water flowing from the pipe. It's a thin pipe. No good, I can't hit it hard enough to break it. Maybe it just needs more of a shock, you know? More of a shock. A water bottle and what? There's warm water float. No. Dry ice in the water bottle. Nope. That's not what I meant. There you go. Cut the rope. No luck, it's too hard, I can't break it. There's too much mist to see what's going on over at the other end. Frozen chicken. This thing is covering something. It's frozen solid. I can't flip it over. There's warm water flowing from the... Okay, I need to see what I have. It's a rope. Well, we could use it to attach something to something else, I suppose. Water bottle. Yes, it is. It's really hard. It's frozen stiff. Hey, Jin, can you say that again? Eh? Say it again. It's really hard. Again, it's really hard. Thanks. So the wrong Junpei, your face is bright red. Nothing, I'm fine. If it's that hard, you can probably use it as a hammer. Yeah, good point. Maybe we can use it to break something. Junpei is weird. It's used as a hammer on the door. There's ice surrounding the doorknob. Hey Junpei, didn't you find some dry ice earlier? Yeah. There's warm water coming out of that pipe. Warm water and dry ice. What do you think would happen if we put that stuff in a sealed container together? I tried doing that. Okay, put dry ice in the container. Dry ice? Can't you make that stuff cause an explosion if you seal it in something that's airtight? Explode? Yeah, didn't you do that in school? You should never underestimate the power of expanding gas. Let's use dry ice on this water. Oh, let me hit it with this hammer chicken. Nope. Yeah, what do I use the stupid rope on? Nope. Okay, maybe search more in here. Nope. Alright, it's definitely the stupid hot water pipe. Yes, I see that there's hot water. I need, like, I want to open this. You like search this to open it. It's an empty water bottle, neck is small. I don't think I could fit anything very big in there. Just combine everything together. The bottle and the knife. Okay, let me think about this. Anything else in here? Let's stop by putting the dry ice into the water bottle. The dry ice is too big. Well, you gotta figure out a way to make it smaller then, don't you, genius? Yeah, cut the freaking dry ice with a knife. Or hit it with this. Alright, the dry ice is all in pieces now. Now put that in the bottle. I'm gonna put these pieces of dry ice into the water bottle. I'm gonna use that on the water. There's warm water flowing from the pipe. We're not gonna get the result we want unless you can hook that bottle to the doorknob somehow. It's gotta explode right next to the ice on the doorknob. We need to figure out a way to attach the bottle to the doorknob. Maybe with rope? And let's just tie a rope on here. Warm water dripped from the ruptured pipe near the door. Junpei pulled out the water bottle filled with dry ice, let a good amount of water fall in, and then quickly sealed it up tight. The makeshift bomb complete, he tied it to the doorknob as quickly as he could, managed it in the cold. Alright, that's set. So what do we do now? We just need to give it a little tap. The ball's already about to pop. If we just throw a rock or something at it, it'll go off all on its own. Small rock? Junpei looked down at the floor. Scattered across there were pieces of dry ice left over from the larger chunk he'd crushed earlier. Alright, this ought to do the trick. He pulled the sleeve down over his hand to keep from getting burned and grabbed the chunk of dry ice. It was a pretty good size, about as big as a pool ball. He figured it would be just about the right size. Alright guys, stand back. Actually, we should probably hide somewhere. Both Santa and June looked at him with new concern. Where exactly do you expect us to hide, genius? There isn't really anywhere big enough. Yeah, there is. Look, right here. We can hide in there. Junpei pulled open the doors of the small cellar. Come on, get inside quick. Santa and June nodded and jumped down into the hole. Junpei quickly followed. In his hand, he could feel the chill of the frozen carbon dioxide even through his sleeve. He tightened his grip, took aim, and prepared to throw. Alright, here it goes. 3, 4, 5. You're counting the wrong way. Oops. That was a really sad excuse for a joke, man. Sorry, dude. Alright, for real this time. You guys ready? Yes, whenever you're ready. Just throw the damn thing. Alright, here I go. 3, 2, 1. Junpei threw the chunk of dry ice as hard as he could. With the same motion, he ducked down into the cellar with Santa and June, just as Junpei leapt up out of the cellar and ran to the door. Junpei, the ice on the door, is it gone? Yeah, it's gone. The blast must have shattered it. Yes, alright, let's see if it opens. Junpei grabbed the knob and pushed with all his might. The door gave way easily, and all three of them tumbled out of the freezer at once. Hooray, we're out! June, relieved, collapsed onto the floor. Move! Santa shoved past Junpei, and ran straight to the grill, which he immediately grabbed. Ow! Goddammit, ha, fuck. He proceeded to kick the grill in a futile but amusing fit of rage. But where was Lotus? It took Junpei only a moment to find her. She was sitting on the counter, idly scratching her chest. Jan, welcome back. I was starting to get tired of waiting for you guys. With a great yawn, Lotus lowered herself off of the counter. Junpei clenched his teeth and walked toward her. What were you doing? What do you mean, what was I doing? I was waiting. We were gonna die. Oh yeah? But you didn't, so everything worked out alright, didn't it? What the hell? Just kidding. It might not look like it, but I was really worried. Don't give me that crap. I'm telling the truth. I mean, if you died, then I'd be in trouble too. If you died, then I'd be stuck here. And I'd die too, see? I did all I could. I even looked around to see if there was anything I could use to pry open the door, but I couldn't find anything. So all I could do was wait. I mean, what else did you want me to do? Call the cops? It was true that there wasn't much she could have done, but something about her tone. Junpei gritted his teeth. Fine, but there's one thing I have to ask you. What's that? You didn't close the door, did you? What? You think I closed the door on you? Why would I do something like that? It closed on its own. I told you before, if you die, then I die too. She was right, and Junpei knew it. Without them, she'd be in very serious trouble. It seemed that an accident was the only explanation for the door's closure. If Lilith had really wanted to kill them, all she would have had to do was bar the door from the outside. And she hadn't. Well, she hadn't done anything. The most she was guilty of was laziness or negligence, not attempted murder. Junpei swallowed his anger and did his best to apologize. Well, I'm sorry I doubted you. Oh yes. Well, that's alright, as long as you understand. Lotus looked away and twirled her hair between her fingertips. His vengeance against the girl complete, Santa swaggered back toward Junpei and Lotus. Hey, no more screwing around, you two. Break time's over. Especially for you, lady. You've just been sitting on that fat ass of yours while we were freezing to death. How rude. I was plenty busy. Yeah. How about you put all that energy into something besides bitching? Let's go. Alright. I feel like this should be frozen, or not, melted soon. Probably need to put it on here. Guess I'll put this meat on the grill. Hey, what are you doing? What are you going to do if that paper burns? Come on, it'll be fine. I mean, it's not like it's gonna burn right away, right? We just gotta keep an eye on it, and the paper will be fine. Well, they can argue all they want. I'm gonna keep an eye on this pork. Cool, looks like it's about time. I'm gonna try taking the paper out. Jumpy, be careful. Sweet of her to care, but I know when I'm... Ouch! See? I told you. Hey, what the hell are you doing? Hurry up and take the paper out. It's not coming out. This thing's frozen stiff. I can't get it out. So are we going to have to cut the meat? Yeah, looks that way. Do it then. Alright, now that I've sharpened the knife, yes, I cut the pork. Awesome, Junpei, now we can cut out the paper. C plus 10 minus, or C plus 10 plus F. C plus 10 plus F. Do you think it's some kind of code? Damn it, they're just screwing around. Junpei, do you know what C and F stands for? You think maybe it means corporate finance? I thought it was clever and funny. Is the code for this thing? Well, C is 3. This is probably what you're supposed to use to enter the password. Maybe if you put in the right number, it'll open the oven door. Junpei, maybe the note you found earlier. Yeah, I know. Do you know how to enter those numbers? I think E is for enter and C is for clearing. So basically when I'm ready to submit my answer, I press E. So if I screw up, I just press C, right? Alright, let's give it a shot. Alright, C is 3, 10 is 10, F is A, B, C, D, E, F, 6. So you only put in 3 numbers. C plus 10 plus F. A, B, C, D, E, S. Shit, it didn't work. You think the note we found in the pork wasn't a hint? C plus 10 plus F. There aren't any letters on the input device. Maybe we can find a way to convert letters to numbers. Oh yeah, that voucher we found next to the plates had some letters on it, didn't it? Maybe they've got something to do with it. That voucher next to the plates. That's true. voucher at the end of the counter. This voucher doesn't match the number of plates on the table. It says appetizer 9, meat dish 10, soup A, seafood dish F. So F is 15. It's a number system that goes 8, 9, A, B, C, D, E, F, 10, 11. You're familiar with base 10, right? That's the normal system of numbers. The base 10 equivalents for hexadecimal numbers would go like this. A equals 10, B equals 11, C equals 12, D equals 13, E equals 14, F equals 15, and 10 equals 16. The 10 becomes 16 in base 10. I know it sounds strange, but you can think of it as just 6 letters added onto the normal number system after 9. A equals 10, blah 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 blah, and so on. I think I get it. So, hexadecimal, I wonder if it's some kind of hint. Yeah, maybe. Junpei, do you remember what I told you about hexadecimal code earlier? Yeah, of course I do. Alright then, here's a little quiz for you. What would 9 plus F be in base 10? Well, F equals 15, so it'd be 9 plus 15, which would be 24, right? That's right, good job. You're a fast learner. Alright. C is 15 plus 10 is 25. 25 plus C 12. 25 plus 12. 27. Oh, 25 plus 12 is 37. This is probably what you're supposed to use to enter the password. Maybe if we put in the right number, it'll open the oven door. Junpei, maybe the note you found earlier. Yeah, I know. Do you want to enter those numbers? Okay. Let me go back. C plus 10 plus F. And F is 15. A equals 10. B, C, D, E, F. 11, 12. A, B, C. 12. 12 plus 10 plus 15. 37. Oh, okay, like 037. Maybe just C plus 10 plus F, so maybe just 25? Oops. Remember the paper we found in the park said C plus 10 plus F. There aren't any letters on the input device though. What does that mean? Maybe C plus 10 plus F is a hexadecimal number if we converted the base 10. I did do that. Alright, I'm just gonna have to leave this for another day. For now. Alright, until next time.